Now at 6, dogs are dumped outside a Chanute, Kansas area, and a groomer can't find out why. We're going to take a look at the mystery. Plus, how a local elementary school looks to give sheltered pets the Christmas they deserve. And a Joplin nonprofit organization looks to battle the cold weather by helping students stay warm.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A number of dogs are found wandering around outside the town of Chanute, Kansas, but it's not clear how they got there. This is KOAM News at 6. I'm Dow Quick. Citizens of Chanute captured the 8 dogs this week. A local groomer volunteered her time after hours to help groom the dogs. They had matted coats. Wagon Tail's groomer says the dogs were not malnourished and recently had their dew claws clipped.
Once we shave them, they look completely healthy. It just would be like someone's family dog. And that's the hardest part to understand is someone was feeding them, taking the efforts to feed them and treat them for fleas and ticks because they had absolutely none on them.
All the dogs are safe with local families just in time for Christmas. We are in the season of giving. KOAM's Jalen Banks shares how one Kansas elementary school gave to a local animal shelter.
Every year, Bartlett Elementary does a gift exchange. And instead of giving gifts to each other this year, they decided to give to a charity. And this time around, they decided to donate to Pal's Animal Shelter in Parsons, Kansas.
My class, I think the spirit of Christmas was with them because their excitement for giving was just amazing. And they came in, they're a sweet group of kids. They brought things in and they were so happy to just give.
Harity says the deciding factor on the shelter was a class vote.
We had a secret ballot and they voted, and this is the one that won by a landslide. And so I really think a lot of connections my kids have either had relatives adopt from here, I've adopted from here, or they've adopted from here, and I think they just had that recognition with the shelter.
Angela Gutton, the shelter manager, shares the importance of the donations.
Intake is crazy this year. It is the worst I've ever seen, and I've been here almost 12 years now, and it's very much needed. We strictly are donations, right off of donations pretty much for our food, for everything. We're not funded by anything, so we get a few grants, but yeah, every little bit helps a lot.
Round it up, what do you tell them?
Thank you guys.
In Parsons, Kansas, Jalen Banks, KOAM News.
Gadden emphasizes that when adopting a pet, it is a lifelong commitment. Well, the temperature has been dropping. Let's check in with Doug.
Yeah, it's quite a bit colder outside today compared to what we had yesterday. In fact, a 24-hour temperature change, 15 to 20 degrees colder right now compared to this time yesterday evening. And we're going to just continue to get a little bit cooler. 39 Nevada, 37 in Monette, 39 Miami, 37 in Pittsburgh, 39 in Chanute. It's been a little bit breezy. We've kind of had these southwesterly winds at about 10 to 20, and the winds are going to stick around a bit as we go through the next few days. We also have some mid and upper level clouds kind of streaming through, but we're going to stay dry. All the rain is heading off toward the east away from us, but we are going to continue to get the colder air pumping in as we go through the next several days. So 36 by 7, 32 by midnight, 29 at 6 a.m., overnight low of 28. Maybe some snow in the forecast. We're going to look at that here in just a bit.
All right, we'll see you soon. A Labette County, Kansas judge sentences a Parsons man to prison for child sex crimes. 38-year-old Jared Bybee gets life in prison without parole after pleading no contest to 2 counts of aggravated criminal sodomy. The crimes occurred between 2013 and 2016 and involved 2 victims under the age of 10. A Tulsa man faces 4 felony charges in Ottawa County for sex crimes involving children. Authorities arrested 30-year-old Michael Lamb Jr. today, charged him with child solicitation and buying and possessing child pornography, among other crimes. He'll remain at the Tulsa County Jail until he's extradited to Ottawa County. More funding is going to be coming in 2023 to several rural law enforcement agencies in North Arkansas. That's thanks to the Department of Public Safety. Reporter Noah Tucker explains how different agencies plan to use the money.
Here in Arkansas, funding is one of the biggest challenges for rural law enforcement agencies like Green Forest, which says this latest grant will bring its officers into the 21st century.
Oh yeah, it's tough getting anybody
today. I mean, it's actually tough to fill a position.
Green Forest Police Chief John Bailey knows the difficulties of a small police department. Hiring aside, he says funding is a struggle.
The state support is wonderful because, communities our size, we don't have the same funding that larger cities have, when it comes to generated revenue for the city.
His department is one of several across the state that has been awarded funding from the Department of Public Safety. The money is meant to be used for officer training and new equipment.
That actually helps to bring the department into the 21st century. A lot of our equipment is old. This will be used to put the digital era in our cars now.
Green Forest will now be able to work remotely, quicker processing of citations, and increased presence in the community. Other departments that wear a lot of hats can use it for further training.
Any given deputy has to be prepared at any given time to respond to a search and rescue, maybe get in a boat and go rescue someone.
Glenn Wheeler is the sheriff of Newton County in the heart of the Buffalo National River. His office is receiving $62,000, which he says could be used in a multitude of ways.
It's there to streamline the things that we do. In an accident investigation, they can pull up the information that they need there rather than going through and tying up dispatch. So dispatch can stay focused on the calls that they're already working on.
In 2023, the Department of Public Safety is awarding $7 million through that grant. Coming up, how a Joplin nonprofit is providing warmth for students in Joplin. Plus, a Kansas company celebrates fundraising efforts. We'll take a trip to the awards ceremony. A grassroots nonprofit organization is trying to make sure Joplin students stay warm this winter. KOAM's Amber Jenkins spoke to the coordinator and president of Bright Futures in Joplin about how they're helping kids reach their full potential.
Bright Futures in Joplin is a volunteer organization created 10 years ago to help students with their needs.
School teachers were taking their own money, helping children buy shoes, paper, pencils, things like that. So Bright Futures saw a need to do two things. One, help the students. Two, help the teachers do what teachers need to be doing.
Last month, the organization donated 82 coats to Joplin students.
We provide Joplin students with anything that might be a barrier to their success at school. So that means last month that meant 82 coats. It also meant hundreds of pairs of pants and shoes and hygiene products.
They cannot complete their mission alone. Bright Futures has an Amazon wish list for anyone wanting to help the students.
So that it makes it really easy for people to just click and ship it directly to us. It has the items we need most currently, which right now is coats, new coats, a few select school supplies that were always in demand, like headphones, over-ear headphones, these pencil pouches, new tennis shoes.
With the community helping, the group can help even more kids.
Our numbers are much higher than they were last year at this time. For example, we might have had 50 need requests in November last year, but this year we had over double that. And our snack pack numbers for our weekend food bag program, those numbers are over 25% higher than they were last year.
Bright Futures prides itself in creating a bright future for Joplin students.
We feel like we have made a difference. We get letters from the kids all the time thanking us for what we do and what we've done, and whenever you get that type of response, then you know you're making an impact one way or the other.
Reporting in Joplin, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
If you'd like to help a Joplin student through Bright Futures, go to brightfuturesjoplin.org for more information. A Kansas company hosted an award ceremony celebrating fundraising efforts for a national organization. The Pumpin' Pete's Corporation hosted this ceremony in Parsons, Kansas. The awards were given to donors in a fundraising campaign for the CASA program. Now, CASA, or Court-Appointed Special Advocates, supports abused or neglected children in court. Awards handed out for such things as most funds raised and best donation to sale ratio. The money raised during the campaign will support CASA programs in Kansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma. A little bit later, Missouri Southern's women's basketball team looks back on their first loss of the season. We're going to hear from the head coach, Ronnie Russell.
Plus, it's getting a little bit colder over the next few days. We're going to check that out coming up. Well, it definitely turned out to be a colder day today, but we did get some sun, which is always nice to see, and we're going to stay dry as we go through the next several days. Nice shot. This is our Landers Chevrolet Tower Cam, southeast side of the city, looking at I-44 east and westbound traffic. It is dry. We'll stay dry as we go through the overnight hours, but kind of cold. Look at this, 38 in Parsons, 35 Iola, Miami at 37, 39 in Anderson, Carthage at about 35 degrees. And look at this colder air working in. You can see the spin moving into southern parts of Minnesota. So this colder air is rotating behind an area of low pressure and just kind of moving in. It's going to sit on us. It's not Arctic air, but it's definitely colder air. So we're actually going to cool down a little bit more as we go through the next few days. Outside, 7th, range line 38, westerly winds at 15. Humidity is at 57%. As we go through the rest of the overnight hours, we drop back through the 30s, 20s. So a cold night, upper 20s for overnight lows. We do have some mid and upper level clouds kind of streaming through. Not a big deal. All the rain now well to our east, eastern parts of Missouri, and then heading into the Ohio River Valley. If we go north, we still have this big area of low pressure. So we got blizzard conditions across the northern parts of the plains. And then again, 3 days in a row, we got severe weather across the southern parts of the plains, now moving into the southeastern parts of the U.S., where there's been quite a bit of severe weather, several tornadoes even, over the past couple days. All right, back at home, let's go through about the next 48 hours. For us tonight, here at midnight, pretty much clear, near 30. We drop off upper 20s for overnight lows. Partly sunny skies as we go through the daytime hours on Thursday. Here's the noon hour as we get into the afternoon. A little bit colder, about 39 or 40 for a high. 37 in Nevada, 36 in Monette, Welch at 39, Parsons up to about 39. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, a little bit colder again. We drop back into the mid 20s, and then as we go into Friday, partly sunny, high temps, mainly into the mid to upper 30s for high. So we kind of step down just a bit each day. Here's a day plan at 29 to start, 36 by noon, 39 for a high. We back down to 36 during the afternoon. But let's go ahead and jump ahead. Heading into the weekend, a lot of people shopping, mid 30s. It's going to be cold, but at least we're dry. On Sunday, we bounce back into lower 40s for highs, and then here comes our next storm system. This is a weak wave, but it should have enough moisture to give us some rain or snow, maybe a mix. Monday afternoon, we could possibly go all over to snow Monday night, and we could have some light accumulation. So we're going to focus on this as we go through the next several days, and then another storm system right behind it. 39 tomorrow, 37s Friday, Saturday, back to 44 on Sunday. Not a bad day. 38 Monday, 30 on Tuesday. So over the next week, we have a lot of 30s, and then it gets worse. Arctic front drops in on Thursday. We drop into single digits, teens for highs. Santa waving at you saying, hey, it's only 15 on Christmas Eve.
Oh.
So yeah, it gets cold. So if you haven't yet detached your hoses and all that, you better get to it.
Oh yeah, those might already be busted.
Yeah, they might.
Thanks, Doug. Still ahead, the Kansas City Chiefs aim to earn a division title this weekend against the Houston Texans, and the Missouri Southern men head into the holiday break on a 3-game winning streak. Jacob Leonard has that and more up next.
The Carl Junction girls have had some pretty good luck in tournament action early in the season. The Bulldogs won the CJ Classic to begin the year, then finished second at the Tournament of Champions in Fort Smith, Arkansas last weekend. Now tonight, CJ is in another tournament championship game, facing Bentonville West in the Mustang Classic title game at McDonald County High School. That one is scheduled to tip off at 8 p.m. We'll have the latest from the game right here tonight at 10. Well, the Missouri Southern women suffered their first loss of the season last night. The third-ranked Lions fell to Central Missouri in a top 20 battle, 73-71 on Tuesday. Now, the Lions got a game-high 31 points from sophomore guard Lacey Stokes to go along with 6 rebounds and 6 assists. Amaya Johns was also in double figures with 15 points and 6 boards. And despite the loss, Missouri Southern still heads into the holiday break in good shape, setting at 11-1 overall and 4-1 in the MIAA.
Through the first 12 games, being 11-1, of course, being ranked third in the country, that's a pretty solid effort. And proud of what our kids have accomplished so far. But it's going to leave a bad taste in our mouth. The only bad part is we got to wait about 14 days before we can play again. We'll go home for Christmas. They'll be with their family. They'll have a good time with that. They'll come back refreshed and be ready to go. I know these kids will. This will kind of force them, or it'll make them work even harder because they know they had an opportunity here and they kind of let it slip through.
On the men's side, the Lions came away with an 82-74 win over Central Missouri last night. They had 4 players score 15 or more points, led by Avery Taggart and his 18 points and 11 rebounds. Southern has now won 3 straight heading into the break. Here's head coach Sam McMahon on what's clicking for the Lions.
Well, I think defensively we've really stepped up and we're just tougher around the rim, tougher on ball defense, taking pride in stopping our man, and then having trust too. If we get beat, then our teammate is going to be there to help us. So we're just getting more a better bond defensively and offensively, and you can see it in the wins.
I'm just proud of these guys. I mean, with Parker's injury, everyone's stepping up. Nongo's playing great. Winston's playing great. Benson's playing great. So Bundy, especially too, he's winning us games on the glass. So I'm just proud of everybody and ready to go on break and come back and get after it.
The Kansas City Chiefs hit the road to face the Houston Texans this Sunday. And with the win, the Chiefs would earn their 7th straight AFC West title. Sunday's game will be the first time Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes will play in his home state of Texas as a pro. Mahomes currently leads the league in both passing yards and passing touchdowns. Last time out, though, he threw 3 interceptions against the Broncos, so he'll try to clean that up this week, but also keep making the plays that he normally makes.
Nobody likes to make those, but at the same time, you don't want to curb his aggressiveness and desire to make a play. So, because he made a couple good ones too in there. That's not going to happen very often with him. It happens with every quarterback, but they got to keep firing. I mean, you start getting hesitant, and then everything falls apart on you.
So there's been a lot of cool Patrick Mahomes plays. That one was one of my favorite ones, just to go. I loved it.
It's funny, but a lot of fans maybe are starting to take it for granted.
Oh,
because
no
we
doubt.
see it every single game, but we are living through a remarkable time in Chiefs history. We'll be right back. Take time now to honor a local veteran. John Bolander served in the U.S. Marine Corps from 1969 to 73. Parsons, Kansas native, served in the 2nd Marine Air Wing, and we are proud to salute Sergeant John Bolander, a 4-state hero. Let's look at what's coming up on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. The Federal Reserve has announced its 7th rate hike this year, and there'll likely be even more next year to combat inflation. Also, testimony before Congress about the collapse of cryptocurrency platform FTX. Those stories, a lot more, of course, tonight. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. Like that cryptocurrency, the temperature has been collapsing.
Yeah, we're going to get a little bit colder over the next few days. Temperatures mainly into the 30s for highs, but we do stay dry through the weekend.
Final sports notes.
Again, tip-off for the Mustang Classic Championship. Carl Junction girls looking for a tournament title. 8 p.m. We'll have the latest at 10.
Very good. Now, you might notice all the toys that had filled our set in recent weeks. They're all gone. Those toys are just a small fraction of the toys from your donations to this year's Toy Box campaign. Whole bunch of people here at the TV station, along with 5-Star Moving, loaded up those toys today, along with hundreds more that wouldn't fit in the studio. So many toys. They're going to 14 counties in the area where various organizations are making sure they get to families in need in time for Christmas. To all of you who gave, thanks. We hope your Christmas is a little bit brighter knowing you've made a child happy. We'll see you right back here at 10. Let's make it a great evening.